Incredible morning, everyone. How are you guys doing? All right, I gotta go over here because for some reason my live videos I've been going to friends only, and I'm about to say OnlyFans. It's definitely not OnlyFans, but it's been going to friends only, so it's like it wasn't public, so it wouldn't like let people share it and stuff like that. So let me change the privacy on this so that it's public and you guys can actually share it out. So let me just change that real quick, and I can actually share it because it wasn't showing before. Normally I share from Silaholics Anonymous, which is public, but you know how that goes. Y'all, if you were on, you know, there's some issues with that. But we're going to do some manual tracing with edit points today. And I'm going to show you when this would be an issue, like when you would have to like do this and why it's important to understand edit points. All right. So just give me a quick moment. I'm going to go ahead and share this out. As you guys come in, just say good morning. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know where you are watching from. Hello, everyone that is on now over on YouTube. Oh, wait a minute now. All right, there we go. All right, just give me a moment to go ahead and share. But like I said, we are going to do some manual tracing, which you do via point editing. All right. So let's just go here. Uh-oh. Okay, wait, copy, post. All right, give me 1 second. I have to share this out the manual way. So give me 1 moment. Share. More options. Share to a group. All right. Okay. It's taking a little bit longer for this to share out. So just give me a moment. Okay, I'll share it out. All right, let's get into this. Okay. So hello, everyone. Incredible morning. Hey now. Hello. Thank you guys for joining me this morning. Thank you guys. And this is for an actual order. So I really have to get into this and get going because we also have to go and purchase some more of the Sublimation printable HTV because these are going on polyester tablecloths. So you have to have the Sublimation, which has dye block because it's black polyester. It will bleed through and change the colors. So I got to really get going here. So let's jump into this. All right. I'm going to just drag the original over and I'm going to do a trace and detach. So I'm going to zoom in on this. And so what's happening really is like, there are some pixels, like you can barely see it, but because it's really near light pixels, with Silhouette Studio, it's colorblind. All it picks up is tones and shades of color. So if we go in and we just go select trace area, place our box around it, when you're doing a trace and detach, the goal is to make sure that all of your edges are masked in yellow and like the yellow is connecting. So by the time I take this up to make sure that everything is connecting, it might look like, if I can tell right here, I'm missing areas. It is best to zoom in and you'll get to see like what areas you're missing. So I have to go up, up, up. I try to go up really slow. So I'm at 72. I'm still missing part of the megaphone on this side. So we're going to keep going up until that area closes in. But by the time I get up there, 89%, I'm also picking up on parts that's not quite right. Actually, no, I'm not even picking up over here because this part is an outline of white. So by the time I go all the way up, you see what's happening now is with those really fine pixels, it is making it where it's going to be distorted. I mean, even if I take down my scale, sometimes that helps. It's still really distorted because of it's like some weird faded pixels when the background was removed. So it's going to give me like a horrible trace. So I'm going to go trace and detach. And if I were just putting this on something like digitally, it really wouldn't matter. But because I am going to cut this on my Roland BN20, I have to have smooth cut lines. So we're going to click there and delete. If I come in here and add a line color, you're going to see how wavy that line is. And this one actually wasn't as bad as the other one, but it's not smooth and consistent. So I have to do a manual trace on it using my edit points. Give me 1 second. I do want to switch over my internet since I'm not sending anything to print right now. I'm going to switch over my internet. I still have to change everything else, but let's just move this one over. All right. So let's see how this goes. I want to see if it makes the signal better because it's a now a router that's like right in the room. Okay, so like I said, I'm just going to manually trace this. I don't want to go from where it is here, like because it technically already has edit points. That's going to make this a lot more difficult. So I'm going to undo to before I traced and detached it, because it's going to make it easier if I don't have edit points on it already. So I'm going to take an oval because of the way ovals just, your points are automatically going to have like corners and stuff to it. And then I'm just going to double click. I'm just going to add a few points. I really don't care like where they are right now. I just want a few points and I can always move them around. And the reason why I do it this way versus like just drawing it out, if by some chance I happen to click off, Silhouette Studio is not like Photoshop or Illustrator where you can pick the pen tool back up. It just kind of stops. So I would still end up doing this. So I pretty much start with an oval for certain things. And for other letters, I might start with just a regular box. But for this one, an oval. And I'm going to select all of those points. And I'm just going to double click on corner because I know I'm going to have to move some in and out. All right. All right, so now we're just going to move it. And if you are a newbie to this, I highly recommend filling it in with color and then taking your transparency down. That way it's easier to move and control because you have it filled with color. It won't just like randomly like click off, all right? So let's zoom in and get to getting, because like I said, I got to do this for an order, so this is real time for me. All right. We're going to double click and start to move these edit points. I just realized I never set my phone up for TikTok. Oh, well, I can't worry about that now because I have to get going. So a lot of times I like to focus on um the easier areas and then go back to the harder areas. So I'm gonna skip over the pom pom area and I'm gonna come right back into this section because it's like more detail there. So I normally like to just kind of skip around and I'll do the easier areas and then go back to the more difficult ones where I have to do a lot of in and out, in and out, in and out. Let's see. Just placed a restock of my paper the other day. Can't wait to try your tape. I got the wider one to help with time untaping tumblers. Awesome. Can you walk us through what you're doing and clicking on because I'm not following? Well, right now I'm working on an order. So I'm doing edit points. I do have videos where I break it down and, I'm just editing points. I'm doing a manual trace and I'm going through the edit points and it's just a matter of kicking and pulling. If I talk through it, it's just saying, okay, I'm going to click here. I'm going to pull it. I do go over edit points in my 30-day training. So if you want kind of a detailed one and a guided lesson in practice, I highly recommend my 30-day training because I break all of that down in the 30-day training. But what I'm doing here is manually going around this. If you are just jumping on, I explained why I have to do this because when I did the trace and detach, it does not give me a clean trace on it. So I have to go in with my edit points and manually go around and put the basically I'm making a cut line. So I'm not sure that's what you wanted to know. So I'm making a cut line because I'm going to cut this with my rolling BN20. So I have to create the cut line and I need it to be smooth so that it's not a jagged cut when I send it to the rolling because I'm going to print this on printable HTV. So if you missed the beginning of it, you can catch the replay and you'll see how the cut line came. I mean, how the outline was when I just used the manual trace. I'm working on embroidery today and a 12 shirt order with HTV. Have not done this many shirts in HTV in a long time, but didn't have time to order transfers. Yeah, when it's orders like that, I'm definitely one where I prefer transfers. I can't wait to get our DTG printer to where that kind of takes care of that. Um, I can't wait to get our DTG printer. Whoa, the whole thing moved. Oh, see, I was way off on this side. Way, 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 way off. I'm trying to master edit points. We have 2 days in my 30-day training where we go over edit points, and it's a lot of like examples, and it's not just things like this, like doing it for a manual trace. We even go through modifying text and creating like new shapes, and even fixing text, because I had like this one logo that I had to do, and when you trace it, you just didn't get sharp corners. So we go over things like that as well, how to use it for text, how to basically take a font and make it your own, kind of sort of. So it's a lot of training in the 30-day training for edit points. Like I said, it's 2 days of training. And it's just learning, push and pull, when to, it just takes practice of knowing like when to pull it out versus pulling it in. Um, and how to make like two different points, make them work together. Because if I go too long on this one I can't be long. Like, no matter what I do to this, it's just not going to conform to that curve. So I have to make sure that this one isn't long. So we're just going to bring it back, and then I can use this one to refine it if I need to. So it's something that definitely takes practice. For me, edit points is something that I basically learned when I was first using Photoshop, because that's how we learn to crop out things. So like if you were creating a menu and a chef took a picture of their plate of food, learning how to manually trace like that out so that you can put it on a menu or things like that. So I learned working edit points from basically the pen tool and the Bezier tool of Corel Draw, and it's just translated over into edit points for Silhouette Studio, because it's basically the same thing. The only difference is in Photoshop, I can control it as I'm moving. So you can change the direction, you can make it curve, and you can do it kind of like in real time versus having to move each individual edit point. With Photoshop and the Bezier tool and stuff like that, like you can go around it and stretch it and move it as you're putting the points down. And what I'm trying to do is get it to right at the inside edge of the color. So that way, like, this is going to give me the best trace. Sometimes when you guys are doing trace and detach, or you're doing print and cut, it's not that the machine cut it wrong. Your trace and detach actually left a lot of white exposed. And if you don't make it to where your cut line is right on the edge of the color, this is why you end up with a bunch of extra white on the side. So I'm one where, I mean, more so like recently, I started using trace and detach. But like when I first got my first started using Silhouette Studio, I would go through and manually trace everything. Like, I had trust issues with the trace and detach because it just wasn't giving me what I was used to getting. So I had real bad trust issues with trace and detach for certain things, especially like for chip bags or something where it's going to be digital and I'm going to print it out, or I'm just making something like for a Facebook banner, or like something for a website thumbnail or mock-up or something. I'm okay with it. But like when I needed to do print and cuts, I'm like, no, ma'am, no ham. I have to manually trace this because I wanted a certain quality. Now, for some people, they may feel like this is not necessary, and that is fine. For me and the type of quality that I like. I think this is my son's doctor. 1 second. Okay, that wasn't for my kid. That was for my fur kids. It's time for their annual well, their biannual checkups. So that was Banfield. All right. But yeah, as I was saying, that some people, they're okay with whatever quality they get, and they may not want to go through this. This can be time consuming, but when you have a certain level of quality that you like, you go through these steps. So it's not for everyone. Everyone may not do this. Everyone may not teach this way or feel like this is necessary. But for me and the quality that I like, this is very, very necessary for what I do. I'm actually going to move this point so I can create a smoother transition, because right there, I wasn't getting, there we go. I wanted that line to be a bit straighter. And it was kind of, it was going to give me a weird dip on that if I left it like that. And then we're going to bring this in and bring it down. All right. So I got through all of the quote unquote easy part. Now it's going to be the one where I have in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. So yeah. Now I'm going to see, because in certain areas it's darker. So I'm about to give you guys a little trick that just might make some of these areas a little bit easier to manage. All right. So I'm going to pull this down here, and I'm going to do a trace of just this area, because for the most part, it's darker colors. So it shouldn't pick up on the pixelated part too much. So we're going to kind of go up. I want to get about there. I think that should be good. I'm also going to come. So I'm going to leave a little bit so I can show like going in and out. Is there in and out over here? Yeah, there is. So I'm going to go to about there, and I'm going to go trace. Okay. Not going to do anything with that. See, now I can't. Look, it's like not quite how I like it. It's going to drive me nuts. Shoot. Okay. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to this kind of stuff. So please excuse me. I just can't help it. It drives me absolutely bonkers. All right, let's see if I can get it to where it's a little bit closer to the edge. I'm going to take all of those and pull it in. I mean, because it's the general shape. It just wasn't like right on the edge for me, and that drove me nuts. All right, so we're going to we're going to weld this. All right. And ooh. Mm. I was trying to make this go a bit faster, but this ain't working for me. But I'll show you guys what you can do if it's a better print. I'm just gonna make a duplicate of that. I'll go back to it, but yeah, I have to do this how I'm used to doing it, and that just doesn't work for me. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do the manual, finish doing the manual tracing. So why not move that? Use the internal offset, because if the trace is not on those details, it's just going to be a very weird like line. So the internal offset works sometimes, but not for the level of detail that I want. The blurriness won't show up when you print it. Well, you have to remember, I'm actually zoomed in really, 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 really tight on this. So it might look a little pixelated, but this is the image that they gave me. So I work with what they kind of gave me for this. but the size that this is going to be is actually not going to be that bad. It's not going to see that much blurriness. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm not answering general questions right now because I'm doing this for an order. So I'm not answering general questions right now to kind of go over and figure out like print settings and stuff. All right. So let me do this how I know how to do it. Well, in the manner that I prefer. So I'm just going to put one there, and we're going to put a couple of points here just to kind of get us started. And one in that crease, one in here, and here. All right. All right, you know what? Okay, wait. Let me just add a few more. Even if I have to delete them, it's better that I have them and I can set them all to corner at one time versus like not having them and have to do this one by one. So let's set them all to corner points. That way I don't have to keep doing them one by one. Like I said, most people probably would not even, think twice about this. I'm a little anal when it comes to this type of stuff. So I rather get the results that I actually want. So I personally don't mind going through these steps. And this does stem from the fact, like Tim said, there's a little bit of blurriness, like a little bit of pixelation in this. So that's why it did not pick up when I did just the regular trace and detach, because there is so much pixelation in this. I couldn't get a really good trace. If this was a really, really good high resolution image, I would not have these issues. But because it's not, this is where we're kind of at with this. The better the resolution, the better the quality of like the trace and the print. Okay, no worries. Love everything you share. Always learn something new. Awesome. All right, so now I've done everything on that side. We're going to zoom out, add a couple more edit points in a few strategic areas so that I can make all of those corner points. And also, another important thing when it comes to edit points, like I was telling my husband when I was trying to use his iMac, this is something where you absolutely need a mouse. You are not going to, I'm telling you, if you try to use your trackpad for this, you are going to be completely frustrated. And that's probably also why some people are frustrated with edit points or feel like they can't quite get them because they're trying to use a trackpad on their laptop or even that little trackpad thing my husband has on his iMac. I just can't with that thing. If you're trying to use that, this is going to be very, 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 very difficult. So you want to get a mouse. You need a mouse for this. It is a requirement. I don't want that there. It's creating a point. So we're going to create that curve utilizing both of the points here by pushing and pulling and making that a tight corner. Okay, much better. But yeah, you're definitely going to need a mouse to control the edit points at this, like in this manner. That is key. All right. This part right here is going to drive me nuts. And I mean, this technically would be easier in Photoshop, but I don't teach Photoshop until you kind of get to a point where you're utilizing Photoshop. If you're just using Silhouette Studio, you can do some of the same tools and functions. What makes Photoshop different in this is there is a slight difference in like the ease of doing it because, like I said, with the pen tool, you can adjust the ins and outs and the ups and down and go into the peaks and the valleys as you're going through with the pen tool, whereas I have to kind of add the points as I'm going. So same things you can do in Photoshop. It's just you end up having to do it it's a longer way. All right. But of course, this isn't a commercial program like Photoshop is. You want to be able to do it faster, then you end up paying for the software. You want to kind of do it. And this is something you can do in the free version. Nothing that I'm doing here requires you to have Designer, Designer Plus, or Business. Edit points are available in the free version. So you are able to do this without spending one red cent, but you're going to end up putting in a little bit more work. And I'm on again. If you're just watching, if you're just joining in, I am Shakia, the professor, owner of HS Inc. 365 LLC. We are the parent company of Silaholics Anonymous, Honestly Speaking, and 365 Creative Academy. We sell submations, ink, and paper. Our sublimation paper allows you to sublimate as low as 365 degrees. Who here still sublimates at 400 degrees for 60 seconds? And who would like an easier way and a faster way of getting things done and save on ink? I don't do any of my sublimation prints on premium matte. All of my prints are done on plain paper set to high quality, and you get the most vibrant colors because our paper releases that it changes that ink into a gas and it releases all of it onto your substrate and in just 30 seconds. So if you would like to save a little bit on your energy bill, you want to have quality results in a more efficient way, definitely check out our website, shop.hsink365.com. and that's where you'll find our sublimation paper. Like I said, 365 degrees, 30 seconds, and it does not blow out the back. So you don't have to worry about it bleeding out and getting on your platen and then ruining the next print, because our paper does not bleed through at all. So you don't need any butcher paper, no parchment paper, like no type of cover sheet is needed for most applications when it comes to using our paper. So definitely check that out. That's also where you're going to find my classes, such as my 30-day training, where you get the fundamentals and you get to learn the why of why we have to do these things. And I go through pretty much every essential tool and function in Silhouette Studio. So today we are working on, you know what? I don't really want, and this other thing too, like editing out pieces I really don't want. I mean, I can have that there, but it's kind of pixelated. I really don't want that. So I'm going to I'm going to, just cut that bad boy off. It's like a little bit of this gold, but because it's so pixelated, I don't think I'm gonna like how it's gonna come out. So I'm just gonna eliminate it altogether. But I'm working on an order. I'm going to do some eco solvent prints on my Roland BN20. And of course, you have to have cut lines. So essentially what I'm doing right now is creating cut lines in Silhouette Studio by doing a manual trace. The results that I got from the trace and detach, I was not happy with, because I would end up with some black showing. Some white showing. So I wanted to, and it would have been a jagged cut, and it would have drove my Roland crazy how it would have had to cut. And with the Roland, it's best if you have as like smooth of a cut line as possible because of how it cuts. So I needed to go in where I had minimal edit points, and it was not jagged, and I needed it to be right on the color because there is some pixelation in here, and I didn't want it to pick that up and end up with a bunch of white, although I'm going to put a slight color bleed. I cannot do a bleed of like the actual design, but I can do a color bleed that's going to be closer to like one of the main colors. And it's going to be that same color all the way around. This is going on black tablecloths. So I could also make that bleed black so that it matches the tablecloth as well. So either one of those would work, just in case it cuts a little bit off, which let's fix. Wait, no, that is, hold on. All right, let's put you here. So that we can bring this out and this one. All right. So once we have it all manually traced out, I have the outline. I'm going to select my image and that outline. I'm going to go over to modify and crop. So now it's going to give me a cleaner one. I'm going to do a trace and detach. Oh, wait, wrong thing. All right, so I'll show you the difference in the quality of the trace and detaches. All right, so we're going to go in and select trace area. So that took me, about 40 minutes, give or take with sharing. So let's say it took me about 30 minutes to go around that whole thing. Good morning. Thank you for joining. Thank you for hopping on the live. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up before you leave if you enjoyed the content. All right. So I see some areas that I do need to fix unless this moved. I do see some areas that I need to fix on here, although I think, no, it actually just moved. I think, hold on, let's line these two back up. Okay, yeah, there's some areas that I need to remove. Still, I need to refine it. So with the trace and detach, as you can see, which I don't know. All right, this is the trace and detach one, right? When I took it up, we have this line right here. Like you can see the white. When you're looking at it just on screen with nothing behind it, you get a false sense of how it actually trace because you're looking at it on a screen, right? So I'm gonna move this over here. So by itself like this, you would think, oh man, that's great. It's good. You know, you got the true size of it. You know, it's all good. But when you're going to cut it, i.e. on as like a adhesive decal, on printable HTV, on DTV, Jet Pro 3G, StarCraft, anything that's like a transfer for darks, it's going on a white base. So a good rule of thumb to see how it's going to print is to copy it, fill the bottom in with white because you're going to cut to a white substrate. And we're going to go ahead and paste in front. And then you're going to see that once it's on that white substrate and has to cut, this is why you end up with a bunch of white. You're looking at it thinking that it's right to the edge. You don't see any white, but you never really checked it to see if there is any white. Okay. All right. Now, if I were to just take this and do an internal offset, I'm going to zoom in. We're going to make this red. So, oops, wait a minute. Let's go here. Oh, no, that is the one. All right, we're going to make that red. All right, I'm going to do an internal offset. I'm going to make that 0.01. That's not going to be enough. So let's go 0.05. I'm trying to get it to go onto the color. And okay, that kind of sort of works. So I'm going to hit apply. And I'm going to go on here and here. Now, this is a method. If it's not that important, this is a method that you can use. I've actually taught this in a video before. We're going to go here and crop it. So it's not too bad, but like certain areas, like this is still going to show white. There is some shift in the design. I don't have the sharp corner here, whereas on the other one, I would have a sharp corner. So see right here, because the initial trace had squiggly lines, even once you do an internal offset, you're still going to have those squiggly lines. It's not going to be smooth. So I still would have to come in here, delete these points, and, you know, maybe fix it and move things a little bit. So you still would have to do some adjustments. I mean, will it be as many? Maybe, maybe not. You just kind of have to go around it. See, like this, the point was way over here, but that detail was like, I'm going to go back. This is, oh, come on. You're adding a point. Like it dipped down here, but that crease is right here. There was no edit point there to where this technically should be like this. And then it's going to go up and up. All right. So that should be a defined corner. And you don't always get that when you just do a trace and detach. My pom-poms probably wouldn't have been like that bad, but like right here, it comes down into the design. So if I put an edit point there, look at how much design it was way down here. So I need to come up and then make adjustments. So for me, I'd rather go in and just know like I'm going around making the adjustments versus I have to search So I'm going to take just as much time searching the entire image because you have to be zoomed in. So I would end up spending time going like this. Oh, look at how this one came out. It's not even rounded. And look at where that is. So this is why I didn't just do an internal offset after doing a trace and detach. It's just about the level of quality that you're looking for. And for me, I just prefer to do it the other way for certain things. Now, there are times where this works perfectly fine. Now, over here, it's not giving how it should. So we're going to add the line color back. And I need to figure out, why do I have so much white? Because here, like, I'm not even. Now, this is one where, okay, because I did so much fine detail, now this is one where if I want to remove that white, instead of me going around like the whole thing trying to find it, it was like really, really thin. Like there's some areas where I guess I still had some pixelation. Like right in this area, I'm going to change the color of this. If I zoom in really tight, you see where it gets really dark and then it gets lighter here. That is what's showing up as white. As pixels fade out, you have transparent pixels in there. So once I go and we're going to copy, we're going to make this white and we're going to paste in front. It's not that it's really like, it's not like it's white, but because it's in that part that's fading off, it shows up like when I go to cut it, that's going to appear to be like a white section when it's really not. Like my cut line, I don't know how I missed that, but it should have been like past the, so I'm just going to do one, like I'm going to just do one small piece of it. So I'm going to come up into the color, right? So now again, we're going to copy, fill it in with white, paste in front. You see how now we don't see that area at all. It just looks like the brown. Makes sense? You guys understand a little bit better now? Like, that's why it's so hard for me. Like I have attention, what my friend calls it. She says I have attention disorder or attention syndrome or something like that. So I pay like really, really close attention to detail. And when I'm teaching, to me, it's one thing to show you just like doing the edit points, but it's more important to me to talk through it. And it might be too much talking for some, but it's okay. But it's important to me to talk through it because I want you guys to understand like why I do what I do and like the level of quality. Like if you desire to have a certain level of quality, you have to do certain things. So this might be a little long for some. Like, why do we have to take an hour video for edit points? Because I'm teaching in it. You may have to pause it, write down the notes of what I said so that you can get a better understanding of it versus just trying to like listen through. You have to take notes, like picking up on the little gems here and there on, how I describe stuff is going to really, really help you get to like the next level in designing. So I don't remember which one it was. All right, so let's just undo because I don't remember which one was the right one. Okay, so now on this one, I'm going to do the internal offset and we're going to go 0.02. And see, I will be inside that line. And because I already did like all the details in other areas, I should have that same level of like detail and like going into corners and crevices. But to be on the safe side, I am going to make a duplicate of this just in case it's not. And then we're going to just bring this back so you guys can see. I want to pick an area that has detail. All right, so right in here. See, I don't like this. Another reason why I don't like this. I rather go in and just fix it. By me doing an internal offset, I needed it to be what I do, 0.25 or 0.025. I did 0.05. It worked in that one section. Like I had to make my internal offset that thick to get to the darker part. But then over here, look at how much of the image I would end up losing. So it's not minute. On everything, it's going to bring in, like it's going to apply that offset where this area should be thicker. And I'm kind of messing up the rest of the image trying to fix that one image through an easy method, which is an internal offset and then cropping it again. Like I said, for certain images, it won't matter. But when you have, like when you want a certain level of detail, it does, it really, really does matter. Okay. So that's why I'm actually glad I did not apply it. I mean, I'll apply it for the sake of this, but I am going to go in and actually just fix that area. So we're going to go and crop. But now with this one, how I'm going to find it, let's get rid of all the other ones because they're going to drive me nuts. Oh, wait, I was going to show you something on that one. So I'm not going to delete that one. I'm going to go delete. All right. So I'm going to make this black again. Oh, well, whatever. Color doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to go copy, make it white, paste in front. And we're going to figure out the areas that I need to fix. So I do have to turn my line color off so I can see the areas, and it's pretty much, oh wow, I did actually a horrible job over in this area because I'm still in a lot of pixelated areas. So I got a little bit of fixing to do. Okay. All right, let's do this. Man, I didn't realize I was that far off. Man. I don't know if it's because I was like doing this and trying to teach where, man, I was off my game on this one. Wow. Man, I was off my game. That's a lot of white. That's a lot. And so by having that white behind it, you can truly see like how off I was. Now, what I can do is like, because it's already in the shape, I'm going to take both of these and I'm just going to move it up. So I don't have to do like one by one. And that's pretty good right there. Now, this kind of sort of the same, and actually I didn't even need this point. I don't even know where you came from. I don't know where that point even came from. I'm going to kind of do the same thing here where I'm going to select these points and I'm going to move it up and in. Same thing with these points. We're going to move them in and up just a little bit. So it's not too bad because I did go in and contour it like really, really well. So they're just off by a little bit. The shape will be the same, but I just have to go in a little bit with them. So 1, 2, I'm going to select these points and go up and in. Okay, all that's good. This side was good. All right, now let's take a look at this again. And we're going to go copy, fill it in with white, paste in front. Oh, come on. And I think I'm just going to delete that point. I mean, there's really only a few areas, but still, everywhere else is pretty darn good. Copy. White, paste in front. Yes! Tis perfect. All right. So it took me a little under an hour, and with talking and teaching, it probably would take me, the level of detail is probably around like 30-40 minutes to go through this. But yeah, so this one is done, and I'll show you like over here, if it's not so pixelated, one of the things that you can do, so like I did the trace on this, right? So this is this part. You would take the rest of your design, like your trace that you already did. Let's take our transparency so I can kind of see. All right, I'm just gonna make this like a big old circle because I don't feel like doing the details on it. So this one, and we do need to take this past like some of that area. So if you didn't want to try and go in and do all of that detail, one of the things that you could do, like I said, you'll do a regular trace on it, and then you're going to take that piece, hold down shift and the trace, the rest of the trace, and you're going to weld it, and it makes it where it's one, and you have that outline without having to do the point editing. If you can still get like if you can get a good trace, but it's like a lot of detail, you want to do a trace and then weld it, and then it becomes that outline. And we're just going to remove the color, select it, and crop, and see it'll be contoured around it. So that's that. And let's go over here. This one, I think I manually traced this one on live. The other time, like I think I did a manual tracing that had to go through this one as well, and I did the towel. So you guys saw me do that one already. We're going to take this one. And this is 14.136 in height. 14.1, and that's good enough. All right. Only because this is a live video, I really don't do a lot of pre-recorded. I rather do them as lives. I am going to end this one because I do want to do a video for my 365 Creative Academy. And honestly speaking, what's actually going to be on all the platforms, how I set this up for Roland. Well, whatever. I'll show you guys, but I'm actually going to come back live right after this so that it can be its own dedicated video. But I'm going to click on, oh wait, I forgot to add my offset on this. So I am going to add a small offset, 0.025. No, is it? Hey, what did I do? I think I did 0.1. Did I do 0.1? I think I did 0.1. Apply, and I'm going to sample the darker color that's around this, so that it's just all the way around, just in case it cuts a little bit off. At least it's a color that's in the design. All right, so now I'm going to click on the two main images. We're going to copy them. I use keyboard shortcuts, paste in front. I'm going to make that green, and that becomes my cut line for Roland. Copy. It's going to end up being 18.5, I think is all I get with the printable vinyl. And then we're going to go, what are these together? 44. So we're going to make this 45. And you know what? I think just to maximize this, because no matter what, the machine's going to take the same amount of time to go across. I think I'm going to make some smaller ones. Let me see. That's what, three across. This is, I mean, not three, almost like 4. This is almost 4. 4 inches might be pretty good, just in case they want any for like shirts and uniforms and stuff. I'm just going to put a couple of these on here because no matter what, it's going to take the same amount of time to print. Now, it's going to make the cut time a little bit longer. I will say that, trying to go around these, it is going to make the cut time a little bit more, but I can add these to it. Eh, And if I wanted to, like, let's say I wanted it for something else, I could make a few of them a little bit bigger for other things they may need prints for. It doesn't cost me anything more in vinyl. I mean, it's a little bit more in ink, but at least you have them. So I just kind of just put a few extras on there just for the hell of it. All right. And then I'll save it as a PDF. So I'm going to do a dedicated video for this probably right after. Oh, wait a minute. Why are you that big? Dang it. I did all of that and I screwed up. It was grouped together. Dang it. I did all of that and I screwed it up. So this one, I completely forgot that my outline was grouped to my image when I did the copy. So I have to ungroup. Now I have to copy and paste and fill it in with the color. You see the difference? See, now I can see my bleed line. I couldn't see that before. So that's something that is very, very important when you're doing this as a print and cut with a print and cut in general. If you want to have a bleed, you can't create that. The cut line you can't create the cut line when they're grouped together. So now I have to redo all these little things that I did as well because they're not going to cut properly. All right, set up, ready to go. Now I'm going to save this as a PDF. And then the next part of it, will be in my next video where I show how to send this all to the rolling printer, because I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. But hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Those who were able to stick around for the whole hour, hopefully it was well worth it to learn some things. See, I just saw someone. I just learned something new today. What did you learn new? What did you learn new today? If you give me a little more detail on that. And let's see, I didn't miss anything else. If you guys enjoyed this, can I get some hearts in the comment section, as well as give this video a thumbs up? And also, if you're watching, if you have the time, let me know what you learned. What was the best part of it for you? Was it a specific gem, something that you were trying to figure out? And if you want to master edit points, you have to practice. If you want to do some guided practice, that's where our 30-day training comes into play. It's on our website, shop.hsink365.com. The cost is just $83.65. That's $2 and some change a day. I just spent $7 on my frappe this morning. So it's less than, like, I can get to, a couple days if I gave up frappes. So definitely visit the website, shop.hsink365.com. That's where the 30-day training is. And I go through every single essential tool, function, breaking down how they work, why they work the way they do, what has, like, if it's something like subtract, what's the results you get? If it's something to the front, something to the back, if it's not grouped together, like, I break down all of that so that when you are watching, whether it's my tutorial or another, or taking a class, you understand why they do certain things, and then it'll help you when it comes to designing. All right. But I'm about to get out of here because I got to get this started. Until next time, guys, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.